Welcome to Four Oaks. It's been a while, but I've had other things on. So household chores, and it's been pretty hot. So that's what I've been sort of doing. So the last few months, I haven't done much on the layout. But as always, I'm still watching videos and gaining ideas. So this one is a little bit about ballasting, and I suppose more the way I do it as opposed to it being the best or the right way. But I think it's important for the look of your track. If you can get your ballast to look reasonably consistent, it does pay dividends. So before we actually go over and look at the sort of last section that I'll be ballasting before it's over for me in terms of ballasting and track weathering, I thought I'd just show you a new loco that I managed to get from a shop in Perth that has now closed. One of the last shops that where you could actually buy something that was used. So this is a Coronation class and a beautiful loco. Now what's interesting about this is the Duchess of Hamilton, and one of the things I was trying to do was to find out a bit more about it, and the only one I could find was from the old tooling. So I kept looking and realised that this was definitely the new tooling. And then, as luck would have it, looking at sort of a database of N-gauge locos, it was actually part of a set. So hence why the box did not sort of tell the truth in terms of, because it would have just come in sort of a plain box in the set. But a beautiful loco, goes extreme, runs beautiful and goes nice with my City of Birmingham Duchess. So you'll definitely see that running in the future. So over to ballast. So quick layout update. This section here, I've obviously where the tunnel mouth's going to be, so I've ballasted into the actual tunnel. But for some reason, instead of doing the other side, I didn't. So this is the bit that I've done the first run on. So as you can see, I'm laying my track on 3mm cork, which gives you quite a ditch here, if you like. So what I tend to do with that is I've got some ballast that's slightly different that I bought a while ago, so I sort of use that to build up that trench before putting on the ballast that I do use. So this is a section that I've done. The tunnel mouth will be something like that. The reason that I've moved the tunnel mouth further up, if you like, is I like to see the trains come out straight, I suppose. On a lot of layouts you will see you know, them disappear into a curve, and sometimes quite a sharp one, and you see the actual coaches, you know, taking that sharp turn, if you like. So this one will be straight on, and there will be a road bridge here as well somewhere before it goes into the station. So this, looking at the first pass, you'll see there's a couple of little low spots here, if I move the camera. So things like this will just need to be fixed up, and I'll just use the Metcalf fine glue bottle like this one, with you know, the usual mix of PVA, and water. I have been using distilled water. I don't know if that makes it better, but with some washing up liquid anyway. So also there'll need to be some little bits like this fixed up where you can still see the cork. So that'll just be a matter of just dropping a few ballast bits on and just dropping a bit of glue on it. And then once that's done, it can then be weathered. Now, to get this edge, I have taped it. So you'll see on this section here that I'm now working on, you'll see that this has got the tape, but only up to a certain point. When I say to a certain point, you'll notice there's no shoulder past that, and that's because that's where the platform will be. So once the platforms are actually installed, then I'll be able to just put the extra little bit of ballast up against the platform. So what am I using? So I'm using fine ballast, grey blend. Obviously there's all different sorts. I'm probably about on my third, at least 3 I think I've used so far for this layout, maybe more. I am also using these bottles, which are old glue bottles. When I'm doing ballasting, I'll make up a bottle like this with the glue mix, you know, the 50% or whatever I think's about right, and then I can decant it into here, and then I tend to take off the chrome tip, and you can just use that, and it's quite amazing how far a bottle of that will go. So that, and then of course I'm just refilling it from that. To dampen it down before I do the glue, I'm using this fine sprayer. So just as I'm sort of spraying that up in the air, and it's dropping down onto the work area, which will have plastic and stuff like that around it, just to stop the water going anywhere else. So let's actually have a look. So this is something that I have done. Here's a point that I've done. So making sure that the blade is totally free, I will then come along, I'll get the point motor about halfway, and then I will put a couple of little bits of cardboard in there to stop the blade sticking. But with this, I've got a bit of ballast in. I will then have to go over it, make sure all the check rails are clear and everything once it's completed, and I do the second pass of just fixing up a few pieces. So what I'm doing on this section, I'm going up to the baseboard joint, and I have put in this piece of plastic across the joint, so hopefully then you can build the ballast up each side, so you don't get that big trough which you often see on layouts where there's a join. So this means you can get the get both sides of the join at similar height. So what I've done so far, I have just done the 2 outer tracks, so of the 4 here into the station area. So looking at it, you've got the outer edge, the inner section, the outer edge, obviously the sort of ditch in the middle, and so on and so on. So what I'm going to show you now is the method I use to do it, and it is, I would definitely say, it's takes longer, it's bit more tedious. It's good if you like music and you can just you know, lose yourself for a little bit, but let me just show you the way I do it. Right, okay, the only tool I use is a business card. I know there are tools. I see people use teaspoons, But this gives a very exacting amount. So firstly, I just get my business card, tip a little bit of the ballast into the business card, like so, and then just tapping and filling up roughly to sleeper height. We're coming up to the point here. I will do that after. But now we've got a bit done. Now I'm just using my finger and I'm just smoothing my finger around like this and looking at any low spots, and you can just put in a few grains at a time if required. So it is quite incredible the control you can get just with this method, and you're not sort of putting it in and then, you know, having to brush it all out again and then taking too much. So that's how I do this center section. And you can obviously look at it and see where you've got these low spots. And then for the outer edge, quite simple, same process. I'm just trying to fill right up to sleeper height, and obviously it's now dropping. I don't know if you can see that, but it's now dropping into the ditch. So when you've done that, you just come along with your finger, and obviously that needs more. So back to the ballast supply, and you can just get really good control